like Chris Barnes is channeling like evil, you know. So there was like this in the '90s. There's like the satanic stigma of death metal and death metal lyrics. Is that still around now?
I mean, yes, but it's like I take it as seriously as I would someone talking about like massacring entire populations of human beings. It's like, do you like? It takes a lot to convince me that someone is actually about it. And it's not that authenticity is important, but it's just like, yes, it's just another thing to add to the list that you could talk about.
Yeah.
I feel like with the internet, like everyone's seeing so much like fucked up shit online that
being a Satanist not that scary.
yeah.
That's a kind of point.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Was it ever really that scary? Probably not. But you know.
You know what? Yeah, that is true. I remember like high school, like, oh, you're an atheist or you're a Satanist, and I didn't really care. And that was me being a child. That there is something to that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the metal though. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
To me, I don't know. I feel like
Weird.
the commitment to like the theater of the lyrics was always more of a black metal thing. And then when I thought about death metal, it was just kind of like everybody was in on the bit almost, you know? And that was just my own experience, but never really like took when I was listening to Chris Barnes sing lyrics about, I mean, you can Google them, but like the shit that he was singing about, even when I was a kid, there was never a point where I was like, okay, this dude is actually a necro-pedophile, right? Mm-hmm. But back in the day with like black metal and shit, it just seemed like a lot more convincing, even though they were like Norwegian teenagers.
Yeah, it's because they wear makeup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's scary.
And it's like more a part of their whole thing than it really ever was for death metal, I feel like.
Yeah, I guess.
But I also wasn't around in like the early 90s when it was happening, so could be completely wrong there.
Yeah, Glenn Benton seems like he was about it too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like no one's like, oh, he is the actual devil. He's just Glenn Benton. He's a badass, but you know,
Yeah.
he'll burn an upside down cross into his forehead every now and then. It's just Glenn. It's just Glenn.
Yeah, just Glenn things.
So you would say it's not like a stigma anymore.
Not that I've experienced.
Huh.
Yeah, I haven't run into a band. I mean, all the modern guys don't tend to talk about that stuff like at all.
No.
Pretty much. Like in our circle. I'm sure that there definitely are, satanic death metal bands that are around, but everyone we would bump shoulders with, not really.
No.
Huh. What are some like satanic death metal bands?
First Morbid Angel record.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Second Morbid Angel record.
Are they so you think they're like about it?
yeah.
I think that
back then,
they
yeah.
were about a lot of things.
Sick.
I mean,
Being sick in general.
Trey was like doing rituals with the Necronomicon and shit with those first two records, like down in the basement of their house. And, like,
Really?
oh yeah, he took that shit so seriously.
Oh shit.
There's a book called Choosing Death.
Okay.
And it's all about like the very early days of death metal, and it touches a lot on like the Florida scene back then and stuff. And there's lots of interviews with Trey in there, and I mean, yeah, he was really like conjuring evil spirits on that shit. He like talks about wanting to summon Satan while he's writing the riffs for altars and how he wants to like kill everybody. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
it was definitely real for him back then for sure.
You got to get Trey on the podcast.
Oh,
God.
I would. I mean, he's one of my people I want to get
Yeah,
on.
hell yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
sick. Chris Barnes too. There's so
That
many
would be dope.
things. There's so many things about death metal that are not out there.
Yeah.
And it's been around for so long, like the '90s. I mean, it hit the '80s, and there's not really anything clear. You know.
Sure.
It's
It's
fucking
just
underground, bro.
It's just
Sure.
starting to get documented. That book, Choosing Death, and I forget what the other one that like Scott Burns did.
The one that's just like about his production
About, like,
stuff.
Yeah, more sound and like.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's more of like the musical and like the actual sound of death metal.
Oh, that book is awesome.
Yeah.
Scott Burns has a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just about all of his years at Morrisound. There's like every chapter is a different album. Yeah,
Are you
it's
serious?
So sick.
When did that come out?
Maybe last
Earlier
year,
this
2
year.
years.
Oh, that's recent.
within the last year, I think. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's starting to be people like documenting
Yeah.
like
Interesting.
how death metal was back then.
So for people that don't know who Scott Burns is, he's the dude. I mean, he had '80s, right? He did like Death, all like most of those old school.
Sepultura.
Obituary.
He was the death
He was
metal
the dude.
engineer
Yeah.
du jour.
He did
for a
almost
long time.
everyone, I feel like.
Suffocation.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
he mixed it. He mixed it.
I mixed it.
That is great to hear. That he has like something out. You know, it's always cool to hear from like a producer. Sometimes they have like a whole other like perspective on it. You know, Like imagine like Scott's like Chris Barnes stories.
Yeah.
That would be sick to hear.
I think he probably has them in the book, if I recall
There's a
correctly.
few, yeah, for sure.
Damn, that'd be fucking tight.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it sounds like I need to do more research on this subject. So Morbid Angel was straight up like real shit.
Some blend of Satanism and general occultism and Lovecraft.
Misanthropy.
Yeah.
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 And then I mean, there's
Hatred, anger.
there's modern bands too. Like, well, modern. They've been around for a while now, but like, you know the band Titan Blood. You ever hear about them?
No.
Fuck yeah.
They're just
Sick
like
one.
Sick.
sick kind of like blackened death metal band from
Spain.
Spain.
Yep.
Yeah. But their whole thing is like, you know, they evoke stuff like that, and their imagery at least is very kind of cryptic and it's very involved in the occult. But like whether or not they're actually living by those codes and ethics, like
Sure.
who's to say?
They probably got iPhones.
Yeah, they got iPhones. You know? They've eaten the fillet of fish before.
If you have an iPhone, you're not black metal, dude. Let's just say it here.
I don't know.
You got to commune with the demons somehow. Might as well.
Yeah. Who was the? You guys made me think of the guitar player. Who was the blues player that sold his soul to the devil? Was it Robert Johnson?
I think it was.
Yeah.
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 Or is it? It wasn't Muddy Waters, right? I think it was Robert
No, I
Johnson.
think it was Robert Johnson. Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if there's like some serious truth to that.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Like sold his soul to the devil to play those chords.
I think that early like Delta blues shit is like a million times more evil than any metal that's ever existed. It's like so fucked up and depraved.
It's called Delta Blues?
Some of it is.
Huh.
The stuff that came from the Mississippi Delta is Delta blues.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
like the 20s,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
The 20s. Imagine writing music in the 20s.